Scientists have unearthed a 300-million-year-old block of ancient ice in the Arctic from the two tentacles on the ice. It's easy to see that what's sealed inside must be a huge beast, but they could never have imagined that a terrifying human being was sealed inside for the sake of scientific research. The scientists brought in a 30 centimeters carbon ion drill to remove biological samples from the ice, but what they got out was not an organic object, but some with scraps. It's a sight that even Carter, who's an expert on the research team, can't explain. But a wealthy businessman in the room sniffed out a business opportunity and ordered his men to keep digging. After half a year of hard work, a huge 18,000-mile hole was finally unearthed. Carter thought he'd win the Nobel Prize and be on his way to the top of the heap. But to everyone's surprise, a catastrophe of unprecedented proportions was slowly approaching. Meanwhile, in a village not far from the crater, they were celebrating Christmas. But the strange events began at this moment. The villagers here have a custom of organizing a hunting competition on Christmas Eve. First, they build a large enclosure. Some of the villagers go to the valley to drive the elk away, so they can effectively trap them all. This year, however, there seems to be an anomaly. Whereas in previous years there were at least 100 or 80 animals, there are now only 2
elk.
The villagers wondered if the elk were also planning their families. In order to find out the truth, the village's pioneering team went deeper into the valley. The truth almost scared them to death. What they saw was a herd of fat elk bitten to death in the snow. But what they found strange was that they had only bitten them to death and not eaten their flesh. Looking around, the villagers soon found a large hole in the protective netting at the edge of the valley. The bearded village headman decided that something was wrong, and that it was probably the work of the expedition that had come here a while ago, which had let the wolves in from the mountains. In order to compensate them, the village formed a group of strong young men to go to the top of the mountain. After 5 hours of climbing over the mountains, they finally reached the summit at midnight. But as soon as they stepped into the team's office, they found that a team of 300 people was now empty, with only a few mysterious and bizarre pictures left on the wall and a huge pit with no bottom. The villagers could only return to their village in frustration at the absence of the team. The next morning, they sharpened sticks with knives to prevent wolves from escaping some dug traps in front of their houses, but when they woke up the next day, they realized that what they had caught in their traps was not a wolf, but a terrible thing.